Hello and welcome back again to the Quad Life. Well, we have now reached pretty well the end of the month. We have gone on quite a journey of looking at a lot of different things and covered quite a bit about life with a spinal cord injury. But one thing that is commonly asked, especially for someone that has recently received a spinal cord injury, is that, well, will there be a cure for it? Or how long until my body is restored again to what I remember before I had an injury? Well, I have purposely made this one of the last videos to show that even with a spinal cord injury, life does not end. There are still a lot of things that a person with any level of injury can do. And yes, as we've seen, there are many challenges and things that need to be continually considered and worked through, but they are not impossible. However, the question still remains, will there be a cure for spinal cord injury? Now, in researching this one again, you can find all kinds of various topics. And I've picked out a few of them here to look at a little bit, so we'll look at those and then continue a little bit more. First, when I was injured in '85, again, my parents were told that the way medicine is progressing, that I would likely be walking by the time I was 10. Well, that obviously has come and long gone, and that prediction did not come true. So, what is the current progress of looking at curing a spinal cord injury? Well, let's look here first at some of the complications of it. This first one we're looking at is from the National Library of Medicine at pubmed.gov. A little bit here of this abstract. It says, the optimism that a cure will soon be found for paraplegia and quadriplegia is strongly founded on the series of discoveries in the last 2 decades, which showed that adult mammalian spinal cord axons can be made to regenerate given appropriate conditions and microenvironment. But then, why no cure yet in sight? What is the delay? And then it goes on of giving several options of obstacles and saying that axons do regenerate up and down through a graft or transplant place at injury site. However, they fail to regenerate further on once they reach healthy cord tissue beyond the injury zone. So there are a lot of different things to look at, and this is one area that is being tried and has been for quite a while by the looks of it. But the question is, what is a true cure for spinal cord injuries? So let's look here at the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis. This is one that I hear about every now and then, and this is what they have to say on their site. So in the beginning here, injury to the central nervous system, or CNS, as devastating effects on the structure and function of the brain and spinal cord. Since the early 80s, immense research progress has been made and has given hope that injuries to the CNS will one day be repaired. Still, there is much that researchers need to learn the complex processes that occur in the brain and spinal cord after injury, and how those processes can be changed or reversed. Now, if we go further down, read a title here that says Defining a Cure. Injury to the central nervous system affects many body systems and functions that influence the health and well-being of a person. Often, when one thinks of a cure, the focus is on restoring motor function or walking. However, cures for spinal cord injury, as defined in Spinal Cord Injury, Progress, Promise, and Priorities by the Institute of Medical National Academies, should alleviate the multiple disabilities that result from spinal cord injury. So, for long-term injuries like myself, I have problems with osteoporosis or weak bones from not walking on them for most of my life. I take medicine and try to do exercises to give strength to my bones, but again, I can only do so much. And also weaken muscles and joints that are stiff and frozen. These are all parts of having a long-term disability. And I do a lot of exercise, but it still all comes with it. And as I said, just restoring motor function is only a small part of what goes into curing a spinal cord injury. That and everything else associated with it as well, especially for long-term people like myself, is also a major challenge. But with that being said, there are still more areas that are being researched. So the last one we'll look at here, this comes from endparalysis.org and begins like the other one we had just a bit ago, that significant progress has been booked in animal and human studies with various promising lines. The research highlighted further below in this. And yes, there are more and more clinical trials worldwide. However, they are in various stages, and in some countries that don't have real good medical safeguards, shall we say. And see the last paragraph here, most treatments are still experimental, but a positive sign is that more and more biotechs and commercial companies are created and invest into bringing promising therapies to the clinic. So let's scroll down here and look at a few of them. And as you see, this was last updated in June of this year. And of course, disclosure that this is only on a few key projects and it's not listing everything, or it's not exhaustive. So, theme 1, regenerating the spinal cord, and theme 2, enabling repair the spinal cord, and theme 3 is retraining the spinal cord. So we see that here, updated June 14 of this year, and then we come up with several different areas that are looking at this. So the list goes on. Then theme 2, enabling the spinal cord repair or regeneration. Again, it was updated June 14. And the intro, one of the biggest issues preventing recovery after a chronic spinal cord injury is the scar that appears a few days or weeks after the injury and prevents any axon from growing away from the lesion area. So just as before, it gives a list, if I can get my arrows figured out here, of all kinds of different areas being studied. And then finally, the third one that was updated in May is retraining the spinal cord. And a little bit of the intro here. E-stem is a term referred to electrical stimulation, neuromodulation, neurostim, epidural stimulation, and goes on to different types of them. And then gives another paragraph about the market. And again, we have a whole list of areas that are being worked on in this. However, it looks like the first one is what has the most areas of research, at least for right now. And if you look below, I will try to give links to those in the description. However, whether a cure is going to come tomorrow or next week or a year or a decade from now, you need to remember that to live the time that we have right now and to not continue to wait for something that may or may not come at some point in the future. Do I think that there will ever be a cure for spinal cord injury? I don't know. Is my honest answer. I know that medicine has made a lot of progress just in my lifetime, and treatments alone are a lot different, such as the FES bike that I showed, and things such as my diaphragm pacemaker. They were not even thought of when I was injured. And there's also more drugs available to help fight off infections, and really just the knowledge of spinal cord injury and what it does has also increased. So in my lifetime, and something that would be available for me, that I do not expect to see. For a younger person that has just been injured, something in their lifetime, well, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. However, again, don't only sit around though and wait for a cure of however many years that might be from now. As I have tried to show, living with a spinal cord injury, it is not a death sentence that you can't do anything, but that we can still be active. So, that is today's profile, and looking at will there be a cure or not. So, we are about done with this month, and just have one more to go. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.